Audi has a long history of making devastatingly elegant but conservative cars. You've just got to look at the A4, A5, A3, A1, A6, A8 to see that. They also make the TT, which is a little bit more aggro, and then the TTRS, which is more aggro again. But we've got to look back in history a bit. So let's go back to the 1990s when the Volkswagen Group were buying everything pretty much not nailed down, and that included the underperforming Lamborghini. Now everyone screamed and said Volkswagen would ruin it, and Volkswagen put it under the control of Audi, and everyone said Audi would ruin it, of course forgetting the previous several owners had also tried to ruin Lamborghini. Audi failed to ruin it. Another thing Audi was doing was winning lots of races and producing really pretty concept cars that then never went into production. So after a while, they looked at the Lamborghini Gallardo, which everyone really quite liked, and Audi thought, we should make one of those. So they did. They made the Audi R8, first with the V8 and then with a V10. This is the second generation Audi R8 Spyder. It's much better than the car it replaces. It's built on a carbon fibre and aluminium space frame it shares with the Lamborghini Huracan. It's got a V10, it's got all-wheel drive, and it goes like stink.
Now I know what you're thinking. You're complaining that we've kind of already had this car in the form of the Huracan Spyder. Well, yes, but no. Because despite the R8 sharing an enormous number of parts, this is a very, very different car. And I reckon it's a better one. These days it's all V10s all the time, you can't get a V8 anymore. It's Lamborghini's glorious 5.2 litre unit, and in the Spyder you can get it in standard or plus. We've got it in standard. That means 397 kilowatts and 540 newton meters of torque, or an astonishing 544 brake horsepower.
Like the Huracan Spyder, the Audi has a really annoying feature. You can't see the engine, it's hidden away under here. The only way you can see it is to get a glimpse through here, or when the roof is opening. You tend to be inside the car when that's happening. So basically, most of the aero happens underneath the car, which is all panelled. And here you've got this amazing looking carbon diffuser. There isn't even a flip-up wing. Eagle-eyed R8 spotters will also notice that the carbon blade on the coupe is in two pieces. Now, here it is again on the Spyder, but you can see it's missing the top part. I reckon that's pretty cool because it gives you a proper visual link to the coupe. And then here you've got the proper race style filler. It's not really a proper race style filler, but there's no cap, so you just pop it open and you're straight in. It's a cracker of an engine. This V10, I mean, we already know this from the Huracan. The V10 is an absolutely unburstable, smooth, powerful, and for a V10, it's a torquey unit, and it revs and revs and revs. I mean, it revs to 8250. That's a lot of revs, and in the days of turbocharging, which robs us of that glorious top end that we've come to expect from cars like this, it's just fantastic that this is still pure, unadulterated revs. Where this really differs from the Huracan is it's a lot less hyperactive, and I know I'm comparing this a lot, but it's a lot less hyperactive, and therefore you can actually spend a lot more time in it and feel less harassed, I guess is the word. Like, the Huracan's terrific, it really is, and the Spyder is my favourite. But this car, it's quieter, it's much more refined. The interior, really, it is so much better, and just something simple like the seats are more comfortable and they've got more adjustment. You know, that makes the car weigh more, yes, but it's more creature comfort filled than the Huracan. And while that sounds a bit silly, what it means is when you've spent all that money on a car, you can actually use it every day. In the end, it doesn't matter what this car is or what this car isn't, because it does this. It's mental, it's so fast. Like even in this non-plus version, this car will still rearrange your internal organs. And that's what you want from a sports car. It doesn't matter if it's a 4-cylinder turbo or not. It's got to rearrange you. It's got to make you feel something. And this car really makes you feel something. Because the risk was, being an Audi, it could be a little bit conservative. It could be a little bit technical and competent. It's not. It's fun. And it's shouty. It's not nowhere near as shouty as the Plus. And it's nowhere near as shouty as the Huracan. But it's got that lovely V10. A Ferrari 488, you've got to compromise your life to live with that car because everyone's looking at you and judging you, let's face it. I mean, that's the truth. And it's a lot more expensive, and it's got that breed about it, and they're harder to get, and they're probably more expensive. And when something breaks, there's not that many dealers. I mean, there's all these things that the R8 does that no other supercar can do. But you know what's interesting? In this car, even when you're not right on it, you know, really pushing it, like I'm not exactly pushing it now, it's still lovely to thread through the bends. It just feels planted and with you and doing what you want. You don't feel like it's making the decisions for you. And that's a real trick in a modern car because you don't actually make many decisions in a modern car. There's a lot of gigahertz in front of your feet. All the computers working for you, hopefully, but often they work against you. But this car, it really does feel a lot more analog than it could have. And I like that. I like that a lot. And you can really hear the V10 with the roof down. That's something brilliant. What I love about the R8 is that it's not just a German Huracan. And I know I shouldn't keep saying that, but that's how people see it. They see it as just, oh yeah, Audi's just taken a car and slapped their own body on it. They haven't. It's got its own feel. It feels different, it goes different, it sounds different, it is different. If I was given the choice, I wouldn't have a Spyder, I'd have the R8 V10 Plus. But if I had to choose between the Huracan and the R8, I would take the Audi every time. It's an easier car to live with. You can go further in it, you can do more things, you can take the straight road or the bendy road and you're going to love it. It's hard to say that a Lamborghini isn't the car that I want, but when you've got a car so capable, so competent, so fast, and it is just as troppo when you put your foot down, you've got to take the Audi.